This is the Nostrovini about from the New York Post. Today's New York Post, which is, I believe, the 20th. What's going on? Spin doctors. Now, apparently, they were trying to hide the fact that Joe Biden's brain had melted. He was in a state of vegetarianism. And I don't mean a vegetarian that eats the food of the fruits and the vegetables, but a vegetarian in the sense that he was turning slowly and not so slowly into a vegetable. But on top of this, the man had a severe case of cancer, and they said they could have actually found out years ago. But the tribunal or the collective that was running the White House didn't want that. That Joe Biden was just a puppet, like a weekend at Bernie's. And he was sick, and people have known if he was so sick that the man couldn't really be president of the United States. In fact, what we had was a conglomerate of radicals who wanted to run the country into the ground. Oh, they didn't want to run the country in the ground. They thought it was the best for the country to let 13 million illegals through the borders, to let terrorists and monsters and Ukrainians being invaded by the Ukraine. Oh, poor Ukraine. They're such a noble people fighting a Alamo. They're the Alamo of today. They can't defeat the Russians. There are too many Russians, too few Ukrainians, and too much resources I wouldn't call them communists. I would call them well, I would call them communists, or semi-communists, some gangsters. It's a gangster state, a state of gangsterism run by the evil Mr. Putin. And Putin is not going to let the Ukraine go. Makes me sad. Oh, our guy is trying to get some mineral rights there, but in order to give us a tangible stake there, so maybe it would hold Putin back. No. I could go on about the betrayal of the Ukrainians, which has been going on for nearly 100 years, at least. At least the modern betrayal of the Ukraine. We're even not even talking about the ancient betrayal of the Ukraine. Oh, the Ukrainians are a noble and beautiful people, menacing men and beautiful women. We have them in our neighborhood, little blonde Aryan little bastards. But they're descended from the Vikings. The Vikings, I tell you. Anyway, what's going on? The spin doctors are trying to say that Joe Biden, we had no idea he was so sick. And the media is saying, we were fooled by the Democrats. No, the media is controlled by a vast conglomerate of one world uh, super rich people who want the United States to become a labor pool for the rich. That's what they're up to. They want to turn the cities into fortresses with robots and slave labor and a super class of people who live the life of Riley. And Riley lived a pretty good life. Oh, the dust up that's going on. It's a dust up. You know what happened? Uh, this big husky black woman, built like a linebacker. She rammed into a ICE agent as she tried, and she was a congresswoman, by the way. A congresswoman. What are you in the football league? A soccer player or a big lady? And you ram a man, and he was traumatized being rammed by a giant Amazon black woman. That's not a pleasant experience. Oh, some people would pay money to be rammed by a giant Amazon black woman. But if you're not volunteering for it and you're part of ICE, you're a man of the soldiers, you don't like it. Ah, the root of all evil. Oh, I can go. I just went on about Vlad. The Trumpers trying to make a deal. It's not going to work out. It's Custer's last stand for the Ukrainians. They can't fight off the Russians forever. Oh, makes me sad to see good people lose to bad people. Melak, Kamala Harris, what she was doing when she had all these big stars endorse her, like Oprah and Beyonce, she was paying them off. They weren't doing it voluntarily. They weren't doing it ideologically. They weren't doing it because they wanted to be president. It was the moolah, part of the $1 billion that she had to pay. $2 billion, in fact. And she spent it all in a month. I was all, yeah, and it didn't do her a damn bit of good. She thought she could buy the White House, but not in this case. It didn't work, and Kamala lost by one of the biggest percentages of history. The Republicans got the general vote, the popular vote, and also you know how it works with the states. And now they're going to probe her for thievery or just mismanagement of her money. Get off her tart. Get off her tart. I don't know what that means. I just read the paper. My mind is going in free fall. Ah, get off her tart. Well, maybe it's about prostitution. They used to call in the ancient times a woman of the persuasion of prostitution a tart. Get off that tart. That tart is not for you. That's an illegal act to have a tart. Rapist abuse. Oh, diddy. Diddy is trying to say that he was an abusive man, that he wasn't taking over these women and using them as slave labor, that he wasn't a racketeer. Look, Diddy on hitting a woman with a wild coat hanger and beating all these women up to keep them in line, to keep them in his freaky deaky videos with underage people and all that kind of stuff. He's going to be in trouble. He should go to jail for a long time just for that, for being a shithead. Excuse my language. I don't like to say that. I'm a good person. Rapper abuse. It's terrible. It's terrible. Makes me outraged. Look at my brow. Oh, Zogo and Ardranian. Now, this is where from Iraq, in a hard place. The the Cuomo, he who undid many old people and molested his staff, although he didn't really molest them. They were volunteers. They were giving headshots that were like glamorous than and amorous than what professional headshots would be. And he had them sitting in his lap. He's grabbing them by the butt. And Cuomo, don't you know you have radical feminists there that don't like the idea of a man and a woman touching each other? It's true. No, that's what those anti-sexual harassment laws were made by people who are hostile to the heterosexual movement or moves. Yes. Bill in wine. Oh, and talking about the double standards of the woke times, there's a woman who can make a basket. Oh, but okay, that's unbelievable. They're just not running around the court not being able to make baskets. Yeah, because you have the female, basketball players. She's a white woman, which is making the other black girls that are there very angry because she's a better athlete than they are, and they're not used to this. Usually they're the better athletes. But this woman is an exception to the rule. And therefore, showing that the rule doesn't matter and it's all an individual sport. But generally speaking, basketball is a sport owned by the black man and the black woman. But now that is changing. Oh, it's changing. You got this white woman who's heterosexual, by the way, unlike many female basketball players, and she's doing hoopy doop with a man. Even more resentment because then the black lesbian football players or basketball players know they can't get her in the hoopy doop. It's true. War and pro-life. Now I have to tell you, I am pro-life. Would I be pro-death? And what happened was this guy who was against people being alive, thinks that the whole population of the world should be very small and human beings, some nihilistic concept, are the enemy of the art, blew up a fraternity clinic. That makes more people. Well, you want to be able to make more people. Every person could be a godsend to the world. And what if you have a big pandemic and millions of people are wiped out? And I'll tell you something, those fraternity clinics will become like churches because, and they, but people I have mixed emotions. I think a woman has the right, to an extent, under certain circumstances, uh, to have, abortions. But at the other hand, I think it should be not so done because it's just not between the doctor and the woman. It's the little baby passenger. And I do believe in the soul. And I do believe there could be punishment for being, doing away with them, which I worry about. I think the punishment is actually the fact that most people, deep down, they know it's a baby and there's a soul there and they feel uncomfortable. Now, who wants to make people feel more uncomfortable than they already do? Not me, I tell you. Learn and earn how to be a poor and have a degree. Social workers, people who are in education, people who are into the arts, the fine arts. It won't finally give you more money. No, no, no. These are the things where you go to school, get yourself in debt, and then have a job that you don't make that enough money to pay off your debt. Social media propagandist. This is the man who is pro Hamas, pro what else? What is else he pro? Pro Hamas was this kidnapping, murdering people, and pro destroying pro Russian, which is conquering a land that and attacking them and making the Russians look good. This man is he's doing it for the cash because those two forces are jerks. Oh yeah, I'm going on him. They're the modern evil. Between Putin and your Hamas, who's eviler? I say Hamas. They kill civilians, they kill babies, and they do the most. And there was orders. Thank God, most of the leadership who was in partaking of that are gone. But it'll take divine intervention, Allah, to stop this situation. Who is the divine instrument of God? Of course, Mr. Trump. A bullet just missed him here. Another one was in the golf course. There's the divine angels protecting him. I believe so. But then again, I'm crazy. Want to go to a sex date? Apparently, people who are married, you think they could do the hoopy doop anytime and turn over here, hoopy doop. But no, they have to have a sex date. A time, like if they were dating in the beginnings of a relationship, and sex would be a thrill. Apparently, they don't have sex enough in their lives. They got to put a date on it, maybe a month. And for a month, they don't do a hoopy doop. But then when they do the hoopy doop, it's sexual and it's romantic. That's, right now I ain't going down with nobody because I'm a sickly man. Yes, I am a sickly man. Mall melee. It used to be malls were paradises of tranquility and capitalism, where you've got your stuff. Where if you were a teenager, you said hello to the other teenagers and hung out. Now it's an octagon where people are getting killed left and right, or beat up, at least by children. Oh, how humiliating to be beaten up by a child. Unbelievable. One of the heroes of January 6th, a woman who was shot in by a guard for the Capitol Police. Their family got $5 million from the government, from the Trump administration, because I believe those people who attacked the Capitol were heroes, heroes because they were protesting a system that had been totally corrupted by lawfare and by the Democrats. Deal or no deal. This is, let me tell you something about the the bad people who are controlling Iran. There's going to be no deal with them. They want that atomic bomb, and once they get it, and the Israelis and the Americans are not going to let it. We're going to have to bomb all their sites and knock their oil fields out. It'll be a short war, but a nasty one. South Africa. Now, the South Africans, it used to be when the great Nelson Mandela there, he had a reconciliation between whites and blacks, and they were supposed to be partner up. But now the Marxists are killing the farmers. The farmers want compensation for their farms to be robbed, but they're being terrorized off them and they're being massacred. This is bad thing. Why can't we follow the teachings of Christ, even if we don't believe them, and forgive and forget? Not forget. You should always remember the past, but you can't get revenge. It's a circular thing that keeps on and on and on. Because then you punish somebody, and then their new ancestors punish you. It goes around and around in a circle. A karmic circle that can only be broken by forgiveness and love, cooperation. Oh, I wish the world were like me, forgiving as I can be. I have enemies out there, but I forgive them anyway. And if I get them, it will not be me, I say. It'll be the Lord, and his vengeance is true, a higher power than me and you. Oh, oh, oh. I love my life, and it was a little hard, but who's that? Who's in that door? I hear people, but my aide is far away.